Hello, I'm Richard Vobes, the Board Explorer, and today I have come to Balcombe, St Mary's in Balcombe in West Sussex to interview a rare individual, a bell ringer, first of all. Not only a bell ringer, but a young bell ringer, which is even more rare, and 15, is that right?
Yep, it is.
Your name is Ollie.
I'm Ollie. Yes.
And I know you go by the name of Ollie Ringer, is that right?
Ringer Ollie.
Ringer Ollie. I knew I'd get it the wrong way around. So here we are, sitting in this wonderful church with behind us the bell tower and the sallies, the ropes, and the sallies is the red bit, is that right?
It's the red bit we grip.
We grip.
Yeah.
And you're a bell ringer?
I am, yes. I've been ringing since the end of 2012. I started just after the end of the Olympics. I know there was quite a lot of recruiting for that.
So how old were you there, to save me doing the maths?
Eight or nine.
I mean, this is great. This is fantastic, by the way, that you are a young bell ringer, because the bell ringing community is of a certain age, and you're well below that.
Yeah, I mean, you do get some, if there's a ringing family and there's their children want to learn. I've rung with people who are 6 and 7.
So did your parents ring?
No.
So
that's quite, it's
you are unique.
Yeah,
okay.
Definitely. You don't find many younger people, especially starting it off in the family, but normally when it starts, it carries on.
So what got you into bell ringing then, Ollie?
I'm not entirely sure. I think my gran, because she took me to a lot of churches when I was young, and I think I just picked it up from there.
I mean, when you say you picked it up, obviously you can't just go into a church and go, oh, that's a nice church, I'll just have a go at ringing a bell.
No, I think it started with listening to the clock chiming,
right.
And then my babysitter once took me to Hurstpit Point Church, and that's where I started learning. My local church is Lindfield. They've just had a new ring of bells, but before they had a really old and difficult ring and very heavy, and they wouldn't teach me there. So I went to Hurstpit Point, and
they wouldn't teach you because it was too heavy to ring.
It was just not the right place to teach someone, especially quite young.
Yes.
But I went to Hurstpit Point, and they've got a much lighter ring, and I learned there.
They must open their arms as soon as you walk through the door, try and bite your arm off, as it were.
It was quite relaxed at the time, because Hurstpit Point at the time was quite lucky. It had a lot of young ringers.
Right.
And when I left that tower, they had 4 or 5, which is, you don't, here we have none. No. So they were very lucky and the tower captain was really good at teaching young people.
So now that's interesting, because there's a hierarchy in bell ringing. Is there? You've got the tower captain.
Yeah.
What's his job?
He looks after the ringers when we're ringing and tells us what to do. Well, suggests what we do, and just keeps an eye on everything in the tower. And then there's the vice captain. That's me.
Now that's, so there's you've got the top man is the tower captain, and the vice captain. You are at 15 a vice captain.
I am. Yes, I was made that a couple of months ago. I've only been ringing here a year. I came here last October, so be about now. So the church, the vice captain just looks after the bells. So if there's any work he's doing, I normally go and sort it out for John.
So you go up into the bells, and that's quite useful, because you're young, fit, and well, maybe fitter than a lot of a certain age. One doesn't want to be rude, but and you can weave around and clamber about.
Yeah. Well, we're lucky here because as we go up the stairs, 2 of the bells are hung above, so we have some space to manoeuvre ourselves. 6 are on the bottom, 2 are on the top, and my job's just like maintain them, keep an eye on it. Whereas John's more the ringing part of it.
The ringing part, right. So tell me about the bells themselves here in Balcombe at St Mary's.
We've got 8 bells. It's quite common for churches across the country. 7 of them were cast in 1936 by Gillett and Johnson.
Gillett and Johnson is a famous name in bell ringing.
So they cast a lot of bells. They were based in Croydon, not based there anymore. They cast 7 of our bells, and one of them is a listed bell. It's our bell 7. It's cast by Brian Eldridge. Can't remember when. 1626?
Yes, it was sometime in the 17th century, which is a long time ago.
Yeah, so when the bells were done up, and I think they were made into a ring of 8 in 1936, because we had a listed bell, we couldn't scrap it or do anything, which we did with the rest of them. And it was left, and it's now our bell 7. So you've got Gillett and Johnson bells 1 to 6, Brian Eldridge 7, and then the tenor is a Gillet again.
Now, before we started filming, I did ask you were telling me about these bells, and I said, is there a difference then between the older bell that you have and the nice new ones, say new, nearly 100 years ago? What are we talking about? Nearly 80 years ago. And is there a difference?
Yes, well, here, because there's Gillet and Johnson cast at this time quite nice bells. They're very well known and very good, and having a Brian Eldridge bell in the middle, it's like going down a piano and then hitting a key which is not tuned right, and it just sounds. I did compare it to a dustbin lid.
You did?
I didn't mean it like that. It's more because it didn't have the right resonance.
Yes,
it sticks out because you've got the other ones there.
Yes.
But a lot of towers around here, all of the bells are cast by different people, and when they're all different, they kind of match together, in a sense. But because we've got 7.
I was going to say, how often would you have a complete bell set that are all cast by the same company?
It's different. It's difficult to tell when bells need to be recast or they're showing signs of wear and they don't sound right. And if you wanted to tune them on the old ones, it wouldn't be right. That's when bells get recast. Normal lifespan, I don't know. It just depends on how much they're rung and what kind of stuff. Right.
I shall go up and have a look at these lovely bells. Ollie, we are now up in the belfry.
We're quite lucky in this church because we've got quite easy access. I know a lot of towers there's a trapdoor underneath one of the bells, you have to kind of swing it to the side to get through, and it's all difficult, but here we're quite lucky. This is one of our bells. This is our tenor bell. It's the heaviest one in the tower. It weighs half a ton. Parts of the bell, this is the wheel. This is what the rope is tied onto and goes down through to one floor into the bell ringer room at the bottom of the tower. And we use this wheel to spin the bell 360 degrees to make it ring, as you saw in the video. When it's up in this position, the bell, all of its weight is being put on a bit of wood like this. This is called the stay. And it hits against a bit of wood underneath the bell called the slider, and it's what's used to balance it or rest it in this position, which is what we need it to be so we can ring the tunes we ring. So
there's a dearth of people ringing bells because there's not that much new blood, which is why you're quite unusual being a 15-year-old.
Yeah. At the moment, we're teaching a couple of people because our band's quite small, and we're working, and hopefully in a couple of years we'll be back up to 8 ringers so we can ring all 8 again on Sunday.
But do you think that there is either a lack of interest, or people just don't know about it, or just have other things on their mind?
I don't know. I've always found it quite a relaxing thing. It's good fun. I come here mainly for the social aspect, so a lot of the time after we finish ringing, we'll go up to the local club and have a drink. So yeah, it's a lot of social aspect. Bell ringing it's not as much mental maths. It's no math. I'm awful at maths, trust me, and I manage it fine. Yeah, so it's like riding a bike. Once it clicks, you've got it.
Gosh. Well, there we are. If that's not an incentive, well, you and I are going to go and do some other videos looking at some other churches and maybe talk a bit more about bell ringing and that sort of thing. But for now, thank you so much, Ollie. It's been absolutely fascinating. Do come and have a look at St Mary's here in Balcombe. You can come in and have a gander around. It's a splendid church. We may do that in another video. But for now, don't forget to follow, like, subscribe, all the usual. Give us a thumbs up. Give Ollie a thumbs up. Check out his channel. And we'll see you on another video. Till then, thanks again. Bye-bye.